The vast majority of school boards around the province of BC are basically dominated by union friendly and special interest friendly trustees who put the needs of the bureaucracy, the employees ahead of the needs of the parents and the community and the students.
And we just want parents to know what their children are being taught, and then they can make the decision. There might be some parents that would agree with it, and that's okay. But there are a lot of parents that are not aware, or they're not happy about it, and they should have a voice and be allowed to withdraw their kids from those particular talks.
They're dominating the boards of all the school boards in the province, basically. And I kind of wanted to go against that. So when I ran in 2014, I was basically ignored because I wasn't the CUPE endorsed, BCTF endorsed candidate.
You know, we have a certain type of response as to who we are, but people who are doing their research and really care and read our platform, we're getting very positive responses. And so we're very positive that change is going to be coming in this election.
Are you starting to feel like the state is trying to be the parent of your child? Well, one group called Parents Voice BC has your back covered here. And this beside me is the man with the plan, the campaign manager for the group of school trustees who are running in this upcoming municipal election. Thanks so much, Fritz, for being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Now, if you could just explain before we talk to some of the candidates, I know you have 28 running, explain what the vision was behind Parents Voice BC.
Okay, well, one of our founder, Mark Vella, who lives in Abbotsford, he had a run-in with the school board and about his daughter. And one of the things that he realized as a result of that is if in even a conservative place like Abbotsford, the school board and the school trustees can be totally run by the left, what's it like in the rest of the province? And he realized that the vast majority of school boards around the province of BC are basically dominated by union friendly and special interest friendly trustees who put the needs of the bureaucracy, the employees ahead of the needs of the parents and the community and the students.
Well, when people are looking at candidates to vote for, and possibly they might have concerns about that, they usually look for independent candidates. You guys are all running independent candidates. Is that the same across the board? Does an independent always mean the same thing when you're looking at candidates?
That's an excellent question. And one of the things that has made the unions so effective in getting their people elected, at first blush, they all look independent, but you will then find out that these major union endorsements go out from a variety of unions. And that sets in motion a whole bunch of support. So it goes to the newspapers, it goes out to all their members. And so in low turnout elections, like school trustee elections, it makes it so much easier for these folks to get elected. And also money goes to them, volunteers goes to them. So on the surface, they look like they're independent, but the reality is there's a whole machine and an infrastructure behind them, including third-party organizations that actively work to provide them with training and information and other materials that are very useful in getting elected.
Well, if you're in British Columbia, you may know that at Rebel News, we have a special website called bcleadershipreports.ca, where we've been covering quite a few school trustee candidates as well as mayoral candidates. So make sure you check out that site. And if you appreciate our coverage, you can also chip in a few bucks to help keep our journalism going strong. Thanks so much for giving us that history. We're going to talk to some of the candidates running with this party in the District 43. But no matter where you are in Canada, I think you're going to want to listen to what they have to say. All right, Belinda Wheatley here, also running in District 43. Now, tell us why you decided to run and to do so with Parents Voice BC.
Okay, so I'm in the school district, public school. So I work in the public schools, and I've seen a lot of issues coming in, and a lot of agendas coming into the schools that really concern me, and that was why I decided to run with Parents' Voice, because it really fit. It was a really good fit, because I feel that's what's really lacking in the school system, is enough of the parents being involved. Things are being allowed to happen and creep into the schools because parents are not aware, and so I think that was it was a good match for that reason. Plus the fact that we've got a campaign manager, which is amazing, and that the fact that 28 of us could all be on the same page, I think is really powerful.
Yeah, it is. I mean, your website looks impressive. It looks like a good bunch of people. But I'm sure there's some parents who heard what you said and they're thinking, well, what agendas are creeping in?
I mean, it's a big subject right now, which is the SOGI, but we're not anti-SOGI. There are lots of really good things about it. The anti-bullying, that's a good part, and that's how it started off. Originally, when my children were at school, because I have 3 kids and they all went through District 43 actually, parents were invited to come and listen to the sex talk, right? And then if they approved and if they wanted their child to participate the following day, they could actually attend with their child, because obviously it would generate a lot of questions. So in that way, the parents would be the primary educator of their children, because the kids would have a lot of questions after a talk like that. But now it's actually become policy, and it's become curriculum in the public school system. I don't think majority of parents I talk to are not aware of that. So it's basically creeping into every subject area. And children from as young as kindergarten are being taught about sexual fluidity. And I know parents are not aware of that. And we just want parents to know what their children are being taught, and then they can make the decision. There might be some parents that would agree with it, and that's okay. But there are a lot of parents that are not aware, or they're not happy about it, and they should have a voice and be allowed to withdraw their kids from those particular talks. But it's also difficult because what they've changed is you used to be able to give permission for your child to go on to attend things, whether it was a walk to the park or whether it was going to the aquarium or the SOGI talk, whereas now it's been so incorporated into curriculum they don't even have to notify the parents. The parents are not even aware. So that's where we come in. Like, we want parents to be aware of what's actually being taught in the schools.
All right. I'm here with 2 of 28 candidates who are running to be school trustees, if you vote for them, in this upcoming election, which is taking place on October 15th. Beside me is Ed Dijonlet, as well as Jeffrey Way. Now, I took a look at your guys' platform, and I think it's pretty focused and straightforward. And the main messaging that starts off with is you guys are for the parents over the state when it comes to who's influencing the kids for the most part. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I ran before in 2014, and part of what I was running was the trustees were so disconnected to the parents as having both children in elementary school. I was wondering why. And then I did a little background search, and I found out how connected the trustees basically, if you're nominated by QP and BCTF, you will you become a trustee basically. And so they're dominating the boards of all the school boards in the province basically. And I kind of wanted to go against that. So when I ran in 2014, I was basically ignored because I wasn't the QP endorsed, BCTF endorsed candidate. Yeah. So this time, obviously, I'm getting a lot more attention with Parents' Voice, and I'm advocating transparency. That's the number one thing, because I think that's critical for changing things. And I can't imagine anybody's against that.
Well, you'd be surprised these days. What about yourself? What drew you to want to run with Parents' Voice BC?
Well, I'm a parent with 3 kids, so I'm already invested in the system. And as Ed pointed out, there are some issues that I think that we need to get into the administration and start to advocate for parents and communities. So that's why I'm getting involved. I have a business background and the skills to do the job, so I thought I'd step up.
Now, people are really busy, parents in particular. You send your kids to school and it seems like the safe place where they're going to get an education. So some of you might be watching and going, what is this whole the state are parenting the kids thing? Take a look at this clip. It's from the education minister out in New Brunswick, Mr. Dominic Cardy, when he was questioned by a citizen about whether or not they think it's okay for kids to be vaccinated without their consent. Look at the response that he gives.
How can you say it's not right to vaccinate our children? It's our children, not yours.
They are our provinces.
Doesn't matter.
You don't even have children.
They are not the state's children. That is absolutely against everything. You are a piece. You are absolutely.
He doesn't even have children of his own.
Globalists never have children of their own. Absolutely disgracing parental rights here. You are a human rights violator.
So he flat out says, in his mind, the kids belong to the province. So this is a real thing that's happening, a real concern for some. How are you guys being perceived with your messaging by the community?
It depends on which part of the community you're referring to. I think if it's the community that isn't doing their research and is blindly echoing the mainstream media, we have a certain type of response as to who we are, but people who are doing their research and really care and read our platform, we're getting very positive responses. And so we're very positive that change is going to be coming in this election.
Yeah. I'm always surprised when I do talk to people who are, very pro-state. They come up to the line of like, well, we should make sure all kids have this training. I'm like, well, what are you recommending? Taking kids away from their parents? Some people walk up that line. I think, Canada, we've all learned our lesson about taking children away from parents, and that should never happen again. And it's weird how people are willing to walk to that line. And for most people, it's, of course, parents have the primary decision. We know we have the primary decision. If you don't like the public school, you can homeschool your child. You can take them to private school if you can afford it, or do something else. So it's definitely something most people are thinking about.
So why don't you explain to some of the people who are maybe just getting involved in that sort of thing, what exactly school trustees do?
Sure. Okay. Well, there's the administration of the schools, which is directed by the superintendent, and then there's a board which basically governs the administration. So basically, what the administration wants to do, they have to pass through the board, and we approve or we question the direction and the vision and a lot of the initiatives that are being brought forth. So that's.
And we have the option of pushing back on provincial government about issues that may be going on with the curriculum and advancing curriculum that's outside the core curriculum. So I know in 2014, I mentioned my kids, there's things that they'll never use in their life. And then there are things, the programs for helping kids in the future. One of the ones I was pushing in 2014 was critical thinking. Mm-hmm. Kids say some outrageous things in the spirit of like thoughtfulness, but it's completely disconnected from reality sometimes. So yeah, it's crazy.
Well, critical thinking is hugely important. Why don't you guys end with just short and brief why you think people in your district, the District 43, should vote for you this coming October 15th?
All right. Clearly, we're different. We're operating and we're trying to bring transparency, and I think that's critical for anyone who has. You don't even need children in this region. You just need to understand that education, public education, is very important, and we're here to change that.
We care about kids. We live in this community. We're part of the community. We care about what's happening. We're not bought by the unions. We're just advocating for kids and parents and education. So if you're interested in your child's education without the influence in the system, vote for us.
Well, there you have it. 2 out of 28 candidates running for Parents' Voice BC for this upcoming municipal election to be school trustees in a variety of cities in BC. If you want to find out more, I have their website linked in the written report, which you can find in the description box below. I'm Drea Humphrey for Rebel News, and
Ed DeZonier.
Jeffrey Way.
bye. Hey, did you know that Rebel News is completely independent from government interests, but we are also completely dependent on people like you to keep us running? If you appreciate the report that you just saw, please go to bcleadershipreports.com and donate what you can to help us cover the cost to bring you these reports. We appreciate your support.